Welcome once again. Now, let's take you through the newspapers and share with you the major stories making headlines across Nigeria this morning. And also, remember that you should be a part of the conversations. We have our guest joining us also, who will be sharing his views with us on these newspapers. We kick off this morning with the Punch newspapers, which should be on your screen in just a few seconds. The Punch this morning says, Nigeria-China plan collaboration on military training and arms production. China announces 1 billion yen grant for Nigeria and others to train over 7,000 military personnel. Obviously, I think everyone should understand what's going on here, but hopefully we'll figure it out later. Power stagnates at 4,500 megawatts, despite $3.23 billion loans. Afenifere Igboho offers support as police squad combats Southwest bandits. We can also see on the Punch this morning, Senate grills finance minister over subsidy savings. Man jailed 2 years for defrauding American of $345,000. Sanwo-Olu signs 3.36 trillion naira 2025 budget, opens 5 roads in Lagos. And of course, you can see Biden, Trump, and others paying tributes as President Jimmy Carter is buried. A lot of conversations emerged from the video clips, at the burial ceremony yesterday.
I saw it. There are people who were wondering. Someone said, to be a fly on the wall or on the chair beside both of them to hear what Obama and Trump are laughing about.
But I think the key thing, for me is really just, again, and I'm hoping that people get to learn. Unfortunately, I don't think they were learning fun enough. No.
Which one?
It's the key point there is that once again you are seeing glaringly that the person that they called Hitler, Orange Hitler, rapist, he was about to come and destroy democracy in America. He is about to, jail all his political enemies. He is the new Hitler. He's the same person that they were all playing with yesterday, and Obama was cracking up with yesterday. Well, it just tells you that, no, honestly, it really just tells you that when they are playing politics, really, a lot of the things that they say are, 90% of them are lies.
Okay, and
it's not just in America, it's all across the world.
We have our guest in the studio who's joining us to review the papers. We have Mr. Habeeb Haruna. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
So let's get your thoughts first of all. Let's start with that. Did you see anything off about the fact that Obama was laughing with Trump and it became headline?
Kamala Harris even looked at him and himself.
Looked at him and looked away. I just feel like she looked at him and like, oh, and she looked away. Everybody's saying Kamala Harris is paid, that the thing was peppering her in her chest.
He was peppering her.
Yeah. I don't think he was peppering her. She just looked away. And Obama may have just been a class act of showing courtesy. The fact that we don't agree.
With Hitler.
Yeah. I mean, please, let's get your thoughts.
I don't share the sentiment of my friend.
Okay.
Tell us.
I happen to be a very knowledgeable person by the U.S. politics. I've taught it before. I went there to teach it. What you see is beyond the surface. Obama cannot be a friend to Trump.
He was just being cautious, right?
The setup itself matters. It was to respect, with the last respect, the former U.S. president, a decent human being, a peanut farmer that rose up from Plains, a village in Georgia, and became the most powerful man on earth. He served for first time. After the service, he became a global statesman, doing many things that people were enviable of. So what happened yesterday was to pay last respect. At the same time, they should have come. We are former U.S. president, we are coming in again as president. Can't be enemies. They don't talk because we are with each other. If they were not sitting down beside each other, and after the program, they stood up and started talking, that's different entirely. You can't expect them to be frowning face when they are sitting close to each other.
Oh, that happened.
Even Trump, as he was passing by, shook the hands of Pence. First time in more than 4 years. So it's a normal thing, my friend.
So you think that it was just courtesy that he was extending?
It's a conventional something.
With him.
With me, they got talk less. You see, and don't forget that Trump is a guy. The guy that is a showman.
He is a showman.
That is, yes, that's the most popular man in your party. I'm sitting close to him, you know, and I'm talking to him, we are laughing. There's sharing conviviality. So that it's not as if they have any, no, it's a normal thing, it's a normal report. The situation, what they came to do, matters a lot. To pay like that respect. Right. All of them, look at them, all of them were there. Look at the atmosphere, well choreographed, and the thing was well done to pay the last respect. As I said, to decent human being, as against the man described as Hitler.
Okay. I mean, he did describe him as Hitler. Yeah,
Obama?
Yeah.
You can differ with people, but when you see them, you can be cautious. It's courtesy that has been extended at the end of the day. What did you expect? Obama is a class act. What did you expect?
I'm surprised that Trump did not greet Kamala Harris.
Well,
I don't know what people are saying here, because there's obvious, I mean, if these people want to show disdain for each other, they will show it. It doesn't matter what they're doing there, whether it is Jimmy Carter's funeral or it is, you know, the Super Bowl. They would show it outrightly. But what I'm pointing out
Obama
is
would typically
that a couple of weeks ago, this person was painted as the disaster that was,
the
event,
the
Americans should avoid.
The event, what did they come to that place to do?
Even if it was at the Super Bowl.
It was,
even if it was at the Super Bowl, it is pretty much the same.
I think,
the atmosphere was
I also think that is also a function of the parties involved. Obama typically is the kind of person that, yes, when it comes to fights, we'll fight to fight, but outside that, he sees that there's nothing he can do about it. He will pay his courtesy.
I agree with that. There's nothing there.
Right, yes. Okay. Hitler supporter, please go ahead.
The point I'm making,
I know, I get what you mean.
The point I'm making is that when you hear the political rhetoric that you hear when people are campaigning, a lot of times people get fooled by it. And you can see that there's a ton of people who absolutely hate Donald Trump because of the rhetoric that these people sold to him.
The same way there are a ton of people that hate Obama.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. But it's not necessarily because of anything that Donald Trump said. It is mostly because of what they've discovered about Obama and what the Democratic Party has turned out to be. The point is, the rhetoric that is sold when they are campaigning eventually turns out to, I mean, you find out that it is all just campaigns, all just lies. And they will do the worst that they can to win whatever election. And again, it's not particular in America. It's politics.
Exactly, I was going to say that I can agree with you that that's politics.
It's
because
everywhere.
Just like with lawyers, in the law court, we are prosecutor and defense counsel. We are fighting. When we finish in the evening, we go and grab
my point is, you can see that this person doesn't actually think he's the new Hitler. And that's the point.
The bottom line.
He was just lying.
The bottom line
you don't know that. He may still think that, but then at the end of the day,
elections are over.
Exactly. Now it's time to governance. Let's move on to governance. Okay.
Go. If you insist. All right. Nigeria-China plans. I think we probably should start. Okay, we'll take the next paper and then we can come back.
Okay, let's go to This Day newspaper. On the front page of This Day newspaper, concerns mount over. Wow, you can see the Geregu First Bank share prices, financial statements. That's been a very big story, and I'm sure that we can, get some of your feedback as well regarding court restrains First Bank over GHL, Otedola, others face arrest. That's another story there. We see also Sanwo-Olu signs 3.36 trillion naira 2025 appropriation bill into law, and at the bottom of the paper there, 2025 budget drama in Senate as finance minister demands closed session with lawmakers. Tinubu receives Chinese foreign minister. That was the big story on the front page of the Punch newspaper, but you can see the photo here of Tinubu receiving the minister of China's foreign minister. But I think we should start with the court restraining First Bank over GHL and others. Otedola and others face arrest. We can see that the riders to that big story. Oil firm to sue for $1 billion damages over bank's alleged breach of contract, and more shareholders oppose bank's private placement. But let's get your thoughts on that.
So there are many issues there. As a Nigerian, we should be concerned because First Bank is the biggest bank. Get all these GTP, UBA, there's any bank splash. First Bank is the biggest bank in Nigeria. And many things have been going on in that bank the past 5-6 years. When the immediate past CBN governor, Emefiele shown more than casual interest in First Bank. And many people accused him for consummating the ascendancy of Otedola as a chairman. It was even reported that Emefiele directed the former MD of First Bank, Adade Tunton, to ensure that the dollar takes over the bank, which happened eventually. Started buying shares, all of a sudden became the largest shareholder, took over the bank. So what he did as a boardroom guru, the dollar first casualty was the same Adade Tunton. Many things were put on the table that led to the removal of Adade Tunton. And the last person, according to report, the person that came last in the interview became the MD, an ally of Otedola. So there had been crisis. So the former largest shareholder, Otedola, was pushed aside. Otedola was bringing in his boys by the bank and doing things that were an maker to First Bank, and by extension, Nigeria economy. That is why people decided to fight back. And why is this day in the forefront of promoting the stories? I don't want to dive into that. Many things is happening behind the curtain.
What is happening behind the curtain?
What do you think is happening behind the curtain?
I don't want to dive into that here. You know, it's you guys are journalists.
So you think it's beyond the First Bank shareholders and what they're saying?
That's if I don't believe there's a personal differences.
Where do you think this is headed?
Well, I think eventually the CBN will have to intervene to save shareholders, save people that are putting money in the banks and the Nigerian economy. Because we can't put the bank in the hand of the dollar that is playing politics with it and use it to promote and pursue his personal interest. I think the government will intervene. And then I said that why are other papers not putting it on the front burner? So why is this day? Yesterday it was this day from the story.
The Punch has, I think the Punch has that as well.
But not too prominent. But my concern, as I said, is for federal government to save that bank from collapse so that the interest of shareholders, they are people that are putting their money in the bank. Because most Nigerians still believe that bank is the safest. So if the federal government has a duty, the Ministry of Finance and the CBN government,
what is the yardstick for determining what is the safest bank? You know, who made them the safest bank?
It's beyond the surface. For example, before now, you see, Wema Bank. You see, Wema Bank decided to say, we are regional banks. We don't believe in national spread. We're not regional bank. Union Bank has national spread. But look at the way Union Bank died. The only time I met Fele. You know, where's Union Bank now? So the biggest bank we have now is First Bank, GTB, Zenith, Access, UBA. These are the biggest banks in Nigeria. But the trusted ones among Nigerians, the one that they think is well run, has capacity to resolve any problem, any financial crisis, is First Bank. You know, and that is why the federal government, we have to come in to save the bank from collapse. Because these intrigues we are saying, this infighting among shareholders, this determination by Otedola to take over the bank by all means, there's no way to be in the best interest of Nigerians and Nigeria.
Can you speak on, because we need to move to another story, the accusations of, mismanagement, that has gone on within the FBN while Otedola since he took over?
I'm not a financial expert, but I'm a shareholder in First Bank. And I'm collecting my share, even though it's not much. But I'm also interested, and I'm afraid that if this thing continue to affect my money in the bank, I don't put money in the, I'm a GTV person, but I have shares in First Bank.
Anyway, let's not do
but more importantly is that the bank has a major influence in the economy of the country, and the CBN, I'm sure, is aware of what is going on and is watching closely, and I'm sure at the right time they will intervene.
Yeah. Well, one of the news reports, also goes beyond it and says, that it says here more facts have emerged concerning the alleged failure of First Bank to fulfill its part of a deal to fund the exploration and development of OML 120, contrary to the agreement it had with management of General Hydrocarbons Limited. So it feels like it's a lot bigger than, just what is on the surface.
I'm telling you, And even the chairman of this day is also immersed in that crisis. That 2 days ago, the court stops him from withdrawing money, all his accounts in Nigeria, tied to this kind of story too. So I'm saying that we need to be very careful, more circumspect, in the way we look at it. It's beyond the surface.
Yeah, we need Rema singing us about the background while we're telling the story. All right. Nigeria and China plan collaboration on military training and arms production. Let's talk about that.
The foreign minister of China was in Nigeria yesterday. Very powerful man. To meet Tinubu. Shows the growing influence of Nigeria, the global stage. And part of the thing they discussed was the issue of military alliance, military collaboration in the face of increasing attack on Nigerians by terrorists. And they even discussed the issue of currency swap, rather than relying on dollar, can rely on the yuan and naira to engage in economic activities. And don't forget that China is becoming more involved in African affairs. And China sees Nigeria as a major player in Africa. So by sending their, not just general minister, the foreign minister to Nigeria, that means a lot. That means that they attach more importance. So the relationship between us and them.
I mean, I mean, they have their interests, Nigeria has its own interests, but does this, tell you that maybe Nigeria is moving away from its relationship with the West?
No, that'd be simplistic. Nigeria cannot. Nigeria have deep-rooted relationship, particularly President Tinubu. Tinubu is an American guy, Chicago man, So
why do you say that?
No, it's not possible. It's difficult. Tinubu has a lot of friends, a lot of school in Chicago, and they have many interests in Chicago and by and large America. So Tinubu will not want to put all our eggs in one basket. But at the same time, relationship between Nigeria and the West, America and Europe, is solid rock solid. Just to tell you all that China can still have a space, to come in, but not necessarily affecting it. It not happen.
No.
Not happen.
Okay, let's move to another paper and see what the front pages are saying. Our next paper this morning is the Leadership newspaper. Kano Senate stops trafficking probe, says it's Almajiri affairs movement. False mode of transportation. We only want children reunited with families, says police. This is, of course, talking about the 59 minors that were intercepted from Kano to, I think they were going to Nasarawa. They had gotten permission from, according to, anyway, we'll come back to talk about that. 19 killed as terrorist attack charged presidential palace. Your policy is not working, Bauchi governor tells Tinubu. CBN suspends extension of export proceeds and repatriation. Benue Christmas attack victims buried. We'll take another paper now, but just to quickly touch on the Kano senator stops trafficking probe. The story, I don't know if you've been following the story, 59 minors were found in a bus. They were being transported, and they were arrested, and the driver was being interrogated for trafficking. Driver, on the other hand, says, it's not trafficking. No. The parents gave me the permission. I collected permission from them, and I'm taking them for Almajiri studies. And again, so it then brings up the conversation about this whole Almajiri system in 2025, and, its importance in educating young people in a country that, unfortunately, I can't say boast of because it's nothing to boast about, but we have very high scores when it comes to the number of out-of-school children. Do we consider the Almajiri system of government, of education, as an actual education that is befitting for young people in Nigeria?
That's a very fine question. During the time of Jonathan, the Jonathan government set up a committee and came up with a policy. And the policy presupposes that the Almajiri system should be institutionalized. In other words, funds were provided by Jonathan-led federal government, build schools and other infrastructure for the Almajiri so that they can easily go to school. And just 2 days ago, don't forget, the MD of NNPC said it was a product of Almajiri schools. What stopped them from expanding on it? I schooled in Kano. I was in Kano for 7 years. And I'm aware that some parents in Kano, we have children, give them plates and tell them to go and look for food. And on your own. We have your children. You will go and buy plates for them and tell them they are their own.
Is that not what's happening in Lagos at these traffic lights when you're seeing all those children begging? Their parents are in the
not
corner.
Not from the south, from the north.
Yes,
it's institutionalized.
Yeah.
It has become their way of life. And that is why the government should intervene. So what this man is saying, this Kano senator, she understood. They are part of the problem. The elite in the north, they are so detached from reality on ground to pursue genuine things and will benefit the other people. There's a video in circulating where Senator Shiomole raised an issue on the floor of the Senate that the money we are appropriating for the military need to be well monitored. We follow this money, we monitor them, so that the military generals will not be using the money we are appropriating to build universities in their villages, in their towns. And we saw the video. Oshimole said some of the senators supported it. So Akpabio was now trying to put it into a first vote. The nay had it. My brother, these people will be telling you that they don't support the tax
reform.
Tax reform bill. Thank you. Tax reform bill. They don't support it. And on the issue of terrorism, when that part of the country is more affected, people die there every day. They don't go to farm. So just to show you that many people are benefiting from this thing, particularly from that part of the country. So we need a leader that is very strong. Like, for example, the current one, Tinubu, that can face them. It is wrong.
When you say that there are people that are benefiting from this system,
they are benefiting from it.
How?
Not because, why are you afraid? Oshomole said, let's monitor what we are giving the military. Because I believe, and that's my opinion, that there's a racket going on in this fight against terrorism. It's a racket. You guys are making. How can you, from a chief of staff, build university? Where do you get the money from?
And yet we keep, I mean, we check the budget.
Why are you afraid that this money you are, because this is about money. Monitor the money, you get the corporate. If people that are, the federal government is spending billions every year in dollars in this fight against terrorism, now let's monitor this money so that the money is used for what it was appropriated for. That was what Oshomole said. And most senators from that part of the country say no.
Yeah,
so we are in a very serious mess.
You're not the first person saying, speaking about this, alleged racket that is going on.
When I watched the video yesterday, I felt bad.
Yeah, and it includes...
By Cordelia Okpe. I felt very bad.
It involves beyond even just the, army. People have also alleged the NGOs that exist in those...
Absolutely.
The politicians, and a lot of other, stakeholders.
So they will not want this, they will not want this war to end. Because they're benefiting from it. Terrorism will only exist if there's room for it. Why are they not in Lagos? Why are they not in Kano? Why in Sokoto? Why the amphitheater in Bono? That's what I'm saying. So because those guys allow it, and it's unfortunate. And we have to cry out and let them know that they're doing this wrong. Their people are dying. Look at Zamfara State. Some in Niger State, about 3 or 4 local governments are controlled by these bandits. You are saying nay. Nay, that they should not monitor what is going on, that should not buy the right ammunition and find those people. And that people are dying. Soldiers are dying.
Yeah, it's scary.
Sad.
Really scary. But just once again to highlight, this story, again about the young children, 59 minors. It's not even saying 59 young Nigerians, actual minors that were being moved to Zamfara. It's in the Zamfara or Nasarawa State.
I think Nasarawa
state. I don't build a contest for you.
Yeah. I'm just highlighting it, that
so
we shouldn't.
Have you lived in the North?
No.
I visited, not lived.
When you live in the North, when you are eating in a restaurant, these boys will be outside their place, waiting for you to finish.
So how do you think that this system of, the one thing that easily comes to mind, for example, would be using poverty, weaponizing poverty during elections.
Correct.
So will that be the way you think that, would that be a strong enough reason for the elite to ensure that systems like this are still in place to hold these people down and ensure that they don't rise above poverty levels?
You see, no matter the problem we have in the South, we are not at that level. And we will be so delinked on what people are facing. In the North, they don't give a damn. The Almajiri system is something that has been nurtured over time by the elite to continue their subjugation of the masses. Even this thing we're talking about, terrorism we're talking about, most of these foot soldiers were recruited through this Almajiri system. You know what I'm making? Most of these foot soldiers that are fighting now with terrorists were recruited through
from Almajiri system.
So it will be difficult for it to be stopped, my sister. And don't forget that religion also
a very key part
encourages it. You go and stay with one malam. Now with the buy you plate, then you go and look for money. Anything you get, take it back to the malam.
Shouldn't
so it's a very
the
sad
system
situation.
typically be about teaching them the faith, teaching them, I would imagine it would be about educating them about the faith as opposed to what it has become now in terms of going out to collect money and bringing it back home.
You cannot delink it. They all work together. That's why I said I've seen it firsthand.
I'm just wondering how a country allows this to be done to its young children. I mean, how do we?
It's not the country. That's why I say it's not a national thing, a national problem.
But it's still
it's a problem. It's a problem.
The government is still aware on the national level.
Absolutely.
When I see those children,
and that was why our president Donald Trump should be given that credit. Tried to build a policy that we bring in those guys, make them to be responsible to themselves and the society, But subsequent governments and state governors in the North did not follow that thing.
It's unfortunate again. It just highlights the fact that
they are not
in support.
I'm not in support. They're not even give a damn about it.
I remember I was being kicked against. I mean, if you look at the front page of the leadership paper, you will see also the picture of 3 children. Apparently, these children were abducted from Bauchi and sold for 2 million naira in Anambra State. Look at those children. Again, you see stories like this, and what comes to mind is, what's the value that we place on the life of Nigerian children? Every day I'm in traffic here in Lagos, you're seeing them, Auntie, I like your hair, Auntie, I like your makeup. They're at the windows, and your heart just breaks.
You have to say it in that.
Because that's how they say it. They say the same thing. Your heart breaks because you're thinking, these children should not be out here. They should be in school.
They are not selling children in the South.
That's what I'm asking. How does the country allow this to be done to its young? And you must.
One thing you must know again is that this kind of thing is not a case that is happening in Nigeria. It happens everywhere in the world. It's for the security agencies to be more proactive and prevent it from happening, and also make sure that people that are involved are arrested and punished accordingly. That is it. You cannot prevent it. Crime must take place. It's for the agency involved to be more proactive, know what they are doing, prevent it from happening, and if it happens.
Yeah, but how does that happen when a senator is saying that they should ignore it?
The senator, not the Senate.
I mean, yes, a senator. But it also is because there's no state institution or federal government institution that is strong enough to actually put his foot down and say, no, these are against our laws.
But these things are already in the law, and the law is against it. There are many edits in the law that can be used to prosecute people that are involved.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that we've run out of time for our conversations this morning. There are several other papers, but unfortunately we can't take them. Not to worry. Breakfast Extra will be taking the rest of the papers over the course of the weekend. It's a delight to have you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Stopping by.
All right.